Hey everyone, this is the second video for Windows today, and it will be covering Windows users. Alright, so this is users on Windows for the second day of the CEI video lessons. So just as a quick introduction, most OSs will have users or accounts that you use to log onto the system, and that's what we're going to be covering for Windows 10 today. And you're probably using a user right now to watch this video. So a few basics about users on Windows are that they're split into groups, and just a few groups include the administrators group, the users group, power users group, remote desktop users group, and much more. So usually if your user is an administrator user, you will be put into the administrators group. Otherwise, you'll be put in the users group, and maybe one or two other groups depending on what your computer is being used for. So there are two main places to manage users on Windows. So you can do it through the control panel by just looking up control panel, going to user accounts, clicking on user accounts again, then clicking on manage another account. So you can see all the users here. You can also add new users and that stuff. So there's another way you can manage users on Windows, which is local users and groups. So all you have to do is just press the Windows key and then R. Type in this right here, lusrmgr.msc, and then click OK or press Enter. Now you can double click on the users over here or the groups, but right now I'll just be covering the users. So some common security things are to make sure that the administrator account, the default account, and the guest account are all disabled. So you need to double click on them and then make sure that account is disabled is checked. So how to know if an account is disabled without having to double click on the user is to look for this small down arrow next to this icon here. So I'll just go ahead and disable these users. Alright, so the next one is to make sure that none of the users have user cannot change password. So I can just go through and double click on each user to look at their properties, and then make sure that this right here is not checked and this over here should be checked. Alright, so next you want to make sure that only authorized users are on the system. So you can see that this user over here is not an authorized user. So how to delete this user is to right click it and then click the delete button. So you can do this through control panel as well by clicking on the user, then clicking delete the account. Alright, so next you want to make sure that only authorized administrators are in the administrators group. So you can either do this by going to the group section, then clicking on administrators and only making sure that all the authorized administrators are in here. You could also go through one by one and check to make sure that only the authorized administrators are part of this group here. For example, this user says that it's not an authorized admin. So you want to double click on it, make sure that it's not in the administrators group. If it is, then click on the administrators group and then click remove. Alright, so now you want to make sure that only the guest is in the guest group. Again, you can do this by double clicking on the user and going to member of and making sure that none of them are in the guest group. Or you could just go to the group section, double click on guests and make sure that it's the only one in there. And yeah.